Namaste, good morning. Namaste, Kumar Priya. Namaste, all the great voice for us. Welcome to the morning session.
Namaste, Dedhia. Namaste, everyone.
Mr. Priya. Priya, we continue with the sharing of the voice for us in the 12th batch. So today we have Viladidi sharing. So
G.
we will, yeah. So Viladidi, Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste, Didi. You can please increase your volume of uh, the speaker, or you can come close to the mic. So, as we all are very familiar, Dr. Ila Manoj Dedhia, Didi. She is from Mumbai, Maharashtra, also from Kutch, Gujarat. She retired from service in April 2021 from her college, and now she is the founder director of Innovation Foundation for Education, Research, Innovation, and Publication. She is a trustee of national and international NGOs. She guides PhD. She completed 39 years of service from her college. She shoulders responsibility as in charge principal, IQAC coordinator, head of the department, associate professor, PhD grade, etc., in textile and fashion technology at University of Mumbai. And she associated with UHP since July 2020. She attended refresher courses UHP 3, and she's a volunteer since 2020 in several projects and activities of UHP. And she started attending morning sessions from the second batch, and that is in January 2021. And she also facilitates the UHP courses with faculty and students. And she's also a regional coordinator of the central region of ACT. So with this brief introduction, I welcome Didi for sharing in the morning session. Didi, over to you. Thank you.
Namaste. Thank you, Bhaiya. Namaste, Kumar Bhaiya. Namaste, Sabhi. So myself, Dr. Ila Dedhia. I live in Matunga, Mumbai, Maharashtra, um, which is, as we all know, it's the vibrant business center of India. However, my roots are also in Kutch, Gujarat, where I do spend some time in the year. Professionally, I continue as a PhD guide, as mentioned, and I'm the director of Anveshanam Foundation. I also am involved with technical and educational social work on various trust boards. And I retired from college in April 2021, where I completed 39 and a half years of service, shouldering various responsibilities. I have always lived in a joint family, in my parental home and in my in-law family. Always have enjoyed happy family life. I have two daughters who are married and settled professionally. My older daughter, Palmi, is in Mumbai, and the younger one, Kushmi, is in California. Both are settled there with their families. I have three grandchildren, and on the fourth one is on the way. So, if I have to discuss about UHV, my introduction to UHV was in the first week of July 2020 when I attended the online FDP during the COVID times, during the lockdown, which was just about 6 months before my retirement. I started exploring within, and I started attending the weekly meetings on Saturdays and Sundays to gain more understanding. And in November, I did the refresher courses, and about a year back, I also did the UHV 3. But in between, right after my first FDP, I had started volunteering in various uh, roles, uh, identifying potential persons, help desk, registration, moderation, FAQ, and so on. I also encouraged members of management and my staff in the college to join the online UHV FDP. We also organized an introductory exploratory session in our college, uh, through which many staff got motivated and they also got connected. I started listening to the morning sessions from January 2021. And also, I was continuously, whenever time available, I was listening to the audio, the videos, and the audios. I started demo presentations for 21 beginning. And then gradually I started preparing. And from June 2022, I also started sharing these proposals. All this that I've just discussed accelerated my own self exploration and strengthened my relationship with other mentors and explorers. My gratitude to all the mentors for the support throughout my journey. My 8-day visit to Manviya Siksha Sanskar Sansthan, Kanpur, for the workshop on UHV and nonviolent communication in 2021 was an eye opener. Listening to the sessions and experiencing the living style there, I was deeply influenced by that, and my exploration was strengthened. Later on, the face to face workshops had started, and therefore participation in those in 2022-23 also helped me a lot. It helped me to understand my own existence. And gradually, my participation as an observer, as a co facilitator, and later on, when I started sharing values. This journey, wherever it was possible for me, I took the opportunity whenever it was feasible for me and available to me. And I found that my self explorations were more better while I was sharing values, while I was preparing to share values, while I was listening to the morning sessions. I was able to see more possibilities in verifying and validating these proposals. I could also see how others are exploring these same proposals in their living. Even listening to the sharings in morning sessions, all the explanation that mentors provided with examples, all this helped me in my exploration in my life. I could see that even though I didn't really have major challenges in life, but I could see that I used to get in disharmony many times. And I explored these proposals and I'm continuing to do so. These universal human values have helped me understand myself better and helped me to bring harmony within myself. And thus, I can also see that I'm able to help in the family, society, and nature in a much better way. I have come a long way these last 5 years. And I'm sure I can see that I have a much, much longer way to be passed. If I'm looking at the exercise 1 and 2, observing self by self, if I'm seeing the exercise 1, observing my imagination at this moment, initially I found it difficult to see my imagination. I attended so many cycles of morning sessions. I used to find it very difficult. I used to struggle within myself and I used to wonder why I can't understand what is being said. But gradually, after having attended many times and listening to these proposals, going through these exercises, I can say now, I can see my feelings, thoughts, and expectations. Awareness at every moment by self is surely not there, but I'm aware of my feelings when I'm paying attention to them. Sometimes when I'm interacting with others, I can see it very easily. when I pay attention to it. But sometimes the interaction just passes off, and I realize later on that I didn't pay attention to it. I have moments of unhappiness that time. So I can see that whenever I can see my feelings, I am responding. And the other times when I reflect, when I've reacted, those are the times when I've missed and I've gone external. So reactions gradually are reducing. There are moments of responses which are increasing. Just to give a small example here, earlier, if in my department, my colleague or any family member or any member in the NGO, if we are discussing something, and if anyone has said something different from my views, I would react with a feeling of opposition. I had that very strong feeling of that my thoughts, my ideas should be accepted by everyone. But now I can see that whenever I'm aware of my own thoughts and feelings, I'm able to see the other person's point of view. I'm able to rightly evaluate the other and respond with affection. I'm ready to accept the other point of view. Earlier, I was struggling to see all this because of so many preconditionings. And the frequency of this has also increased that I'm able to see. I'm still working on myself and trying to shift from these external distractions which are creating this internal disharmony at times. I'm working on my own internal harmony. I can see that it is only continuous awareness of self which will make it possible. So whenever there are moments when I'm aware, I can transit into moments of happiness. And referring to natural acceptance is helping me a lot. Life is becoming more simpler, easier, and lighter in such times when I'm in this state. As I started referring to my natural acceptance, earlier I was finding this also very difficult. But now I'm finding it very simple. Whenever I refer to it, I see that life is becoming very simple, very light. And I soon realized that so much of social work, professional work, household, family responsibilities. Just to give a small example, with all that, I was ignoring my own health. And on referring to my natural acceptance, I developed an understanding of the role of body as an instrument of the self. Through the many sessions that I listened, that I shared, I was able to see this distinction very clearly. And with this, gradually, I started nurturing and caring for my own health with a feeling of self-regulation. So when I feel comfortable within, I can see that it is a state in which I want to continue to be in. I'm not always able to stay in this state though. And when I'm not aware, I slip in my observation of the imagination. And these moments cause unhappiness. I can see that discomfort is not naturally acceptable to me. I can clearly see the shift and its effects. The more I live in awareness, the more I live in comfort and harmony. It is so simple when I refer to my natural acceptance. And I get responses very easily. So I am working on being aware for more moments, for more times. I am working on my imagination to find out what made me unhappy during my different interactions. And I am able to find answers. I can also see that I decide the feelings that I have. I can transform these feelings of opposition to feelings of affection, harmony, whenever I'm aware. Sometimes I'm observing everything without reacting, but very often I drift with my thoughts and become one with them, especially when incidences are too fast or too sudden. In such cases, observation is missed out and it results in a reaction. But now, within a short period, I do realize whenever I'm reacting, I do reflect back. Initially, I was not able to, it used to bother me. But now, such reactions, I gradually cool down and have the right feelings towards the other, feelings of trust, respect, affection. I can verify, I can observe them. I can see that I am responsible for my own feelings. It may seem as if others are responsible, but all of it is my preconditioning. Just to give a small example, this is a very common example in my life between me and my husband. We have distribution of work where I do the major work in the house and he does the purchasing outside. And it is a regular feature that whatever list I have given, he misses on something or the other. And I used to get angry, and this used to continue for years. And I used to, especially with the WhatsApp, I used to give him the list. Earlier, I used to write the list. Even now, sometimes I used to write the list. It would make me angry that how can somebody with written note also miss something? But he would just be silent, and that would make me more angry. I could never understand why this is how this can happen every time. How can somebody be so absent-minded? But now, after having explored so many proposals, I accept this with a feeling of affection. And I have a deep feeling of gratitude for all that he is doing for all of us. I'm in complete harmony within myself, even if he misses out on the most important things. In fact, the moment he brings the things, he will ask me to check. If anything is missing, he will offer that I'll go back and get it. So now the things are very different. I also don't insist. And there is so much of harmony. This is just one example where I could see the shift. I could observe how my feelings towards others were dependent on the other's behavior or words spoken to me earlier. And even now, sometimes it does happen. Just to give one more example, with my daughter, my older one stays very close by. So we do interact very often. And I experience the feeling of comfort whenever she's responded well. It so happens sometimes that she's very abrupt and I don't understand why it happens. And then we land up in some argument and she will say, "You never understand me." And suddenly this feeling of opposition and a reaction. And I can see now that this behavior is not naturally acceptable to me. I'm not comfortable. Even she is not comfortable. So while I'm exploring all these proposals, I'm able to see the feeling of relatedness and that I can rightly evaluate her now. I do reason out. Maybe she's tired after her day's work. Maybe she just needs company and I need to listen to her. There could be so many reasons. So I just leave all that and I sit and listen to her. And after having heard her with a feeling of affection, I can see that I am also responding. It is not that this is happening every time, but it happens many times that we are responding. I'm in harmony, she's also in harmony. And I can see that my feelings at every moment, whenever I'm aware, I'm able to transform these feelings within me. I can see my thoughts and expectations. And I can see how it is resulting in harmony. So I do realize that I myself am making the decisions about my feelings. No one else is deciding. However, this awareness is not continuous. So when I'm not aware, when our interactions are sudden, then it may happen, it may result in a reaction at times. But as soon as I realize it, I do decide and work on my feelings of relationship. So I have the choice to keep myself unaware and continue to work like how I was doing it earlier and react and go through more moments of discomfort, disharmony within and in others. I also can see that I have a choice to work on my feelings, thoughts, and expectations. I can see it is my decision. I can experience this beautiful shift in feelings, giving rise to peace and harmony within me, and thereby in my behavior and external expression. However, I can see that this requires practice more and more. And I do see that whenever I'm too busy, such observations are missed. And therefore, I find the morning exercises have helped me a lot to keep time separate for self observations. I realize the importance of this practice. And yes, I do realize I can do better with more efforts. It was very easy for me to realize that naturally acceptable thoughts and feelings are the ones in which I wish to continue. And the feelings of opposition and contradiction are the ones that I do not like to continue. Just one more example. I realized that I had stopped reading newspapers, watching television, serials, movies for a very long time, more than 30 years. As I used to find them resulting in some negative thoughts, fear. And I could see that it was all based on preconditioning. Although earlier I never knew all this, but I was not comfortable in it. So I could realize that I did not want to continue with anything that is negative thoughts and feelings within myself. So right feelings are naturally acceptable to me. Hence, the understanding of right feeling is most important. However, I could now see that although I was in touch with various philosophies, especially the Jain philosophy, I miss seeing the most important values of right understanding, relationship, and physical facility in the correct priority. It was all there, but I did not understand it unless I could see it here through the very exhaustive content, which is very simply explained and well placed. I realized I was working hard in my career, trying to balance family life, and I had assumed all that was self development, family development. I was working for improving physical facilities, not only for myself, but also for people in the society through the various NGOs and the social work that I was involved in. I'm now able to see that all that I did for so many years is not enough for self development, family, or societal development. Rather, more of what I did was towards the third priority of physical facility. Having realized this now, I'm self driven to work towards right understanding and relationship. I can see it's a very long process for me, but every moment of experience of harmony is an achievement for me. And therefore, I wish to work and I'm working more towards it. I try to ensure the feelings of relationship and harmony, but sometimes I'm unable to. I'm working towards it in the family or in the NGO where I'm associated with. Now, my focus is more on self and team development for harmony at all levels rather than on work accomplishment, which was earlier the case. Now, I can see every possibility to accomplish work with a feeling of relationship and harmony, which was not the case earlier. The example of the recent international conference was a great learning for me from this perspective. I could see so many contributing to the work with a feeling of relationship. They are sharing their explorations, their work style, the feelings of family really helped me to explore within. I'm working on myself in this direction. I'm very happy that I've found this path, but at least I can also see that the path is long. It is going to really take me long because of my own sanskars. I do experience harmony most of the time when I understand, when I'm with a feeling of relationship. So when I'm working now with my colleagues in the NGOs or the university, the beneficiaries, or in the family, I can see the impact of my harmony on others. I can experience that. And we really enjoy working together. The situation is very different now. And if I'm looking at the exercise 2, observation of the self by body, I can see that I am there. I'm making decisions for my body. Example, walking, running, eating, sleeping. The body just follows these instructions. Again, I will quote the example of the recent conference, the international conference. We could see that I myself decided when to work, how long to work, when to rest, when to nap. Self decided and body acted accordingly. I can observe the two distinct realities and the differences between self and body, in particular regarding the needs. The self needs happiness, trust, respect, affection, all these feelings all the time. I can see that. And that my body needs a mobile, needs food, house, clothes. And I can see all these needs are temporary. Example, when my fingers just touched the hot vessel unknowingly, yesterday itself, the burning sensation could be sensed even with my closed eyes. I could observe the body. I could feel it. I do observe the exchange of information between the two closely and can experience the self taking decisions and the material body following its instructions. I decided what instructions to give to the body to hold the fingers under the cold water from the tap, to allow the water to flow on it for some time till the burning sensation settles. I decided to keep it for still longer for a while, and then I decided to withdraw my hand from the tap water. So I can experience this exchange of information. The activities of the self, I can see them continuous. My imagination, my desire, thought, expectation. Whereas I can see the activities of my body are temporary. I can also see the response, that is, knowing, assuming, recognizing, and fulfilling activities of the self. I can see that most of the time, recognizing and fulfilling are based on so many of my assumptions without knowing. But with exploration of proposals, sometimes my recognition and fulfillment are based on assumptions based on knowing. To give an example, when I'm interacting with colleagues, if at that time my assumption is based on knowing, which is based on right understanding and the right feeling, if I have the right feeling of affection, trust, respect towards them, my interaction with my colleagues turn out to be very harmonious. Where I'm also in harmony, they are also in harmony. But there are some times when my assumptions are based on some preconditioning about the same person, some negative preconditioning. And then my feelings are of opposition. And therefore, the interactions also turn out to be disharmonious. And I can see that sometimes my assumptions are based on getting some sensations from some physical facility. But these assumptions keep changing, and my recognition and fulfillment changes. For example, assumption that possessing the latest model of mobile phone with the latest features, and also that it will give more respect. But this assumption keeps changing as the phone model changes or is replaced. And recognition and fulfillment changed when my assumption was based on knowing, right understanding, that electronic disposals are causing digital waste in the environment. Waste of resources that can be otherwise used for more important things. That use of latest technology also needs to be rightly utilized. So whenever I'm evaluating based on the proposals, I'm able to take the right decision. So I can see that recognition and fulfillment is changing based on my understanding. I can see that body, my interaction with the body or the world outside is by way of sensation. I can see that self and body both are important and that they are coexisting. I do observe this interaction. I do observe this exchange of information. And through this, I realized the value and the importance of self. I gradually gave up a lot of the kind of voluntary work that I was earlier involved in. I delegated it to many others, prepared another team, This was very important for me so that I had more time for self exploration. I also shared these proposals with many of them. I realized this is the right way of living. I'm able to find more time for facilitating and sharing these proposals with others. I do try to develop self discipline in different ways rather than surrendering to the sensations in the body or the sensations that are coming from outside through the body. I try to identify and observe. I decide which sensation I wish to attend to, which I do not wish to. So, whenever I'm aware, I'm able to do that. I can see that I am the seer, the doer, and the enjoyer. The dependence of the self on sensation for happiness is what I'm exploring. The distance between self and body, I'm not able to see it. I do try to imagine. I can see the sensations coming from the body and externally from surrounding, from nature, people. I can see them. I can see also times when I get influenced by that. And I do react if my sanskar is based on some assumption. I decide my feeling and become happy or unhappy based on external inputs. That is when I react. My sanskars are based on assumptions that are a state of enslavement. I can see that. I can observe them most times. When I try to see a trend, I can see these sanskars which are repeating themselves. For example, I used to assume that work accomplishment is very important, but now I'm able to work on it. It does come again and again, but I am able to see that that can also be done with a feeling of relationship. And I can see the importance of relationship. So the deep preconditioning that is there, the deep rooted sanskar, I'm working on it. That relationship is most important. Because eventually all this work will only result in physical facility. I'm able to see the priority. So I respond when my sanskars are based on understanding. I continue to remain in harmony. With the right understanding, my feeling remains natural in accordance with nature. I continue to be in a state of happiness. I do use external input to rightly evaluate the external situation. That is when I respond. I am self exploring, I am self dialoguing, and I am self evaluating. And I find the step not simple as it seemed to be. Earlier, I used to feel I already know, so I used to listen to the same thing again and again. But now, after having gone through, I can see it is tough time to work on these past deep rooted sanskars, which are opening up gradually. I've observed them. I'm putting efforts to let them shed off and be replaced by right feeling. Example now, when someone used to correct me earlier, I never used to accept my mistakes. I used to always think I am right, I am the best. Rather, I would focus on the shortcomings of the other and try to correct that person. But now I trust the intention of the other. I evaluate my competency and I am working on it. I'm trying to work on it. I'm not saying that this happens all the time, There are moments I still slip off, but there are many times now that I'm able to see my lack of competencies. And I'm full of gratitude towards those who are helping me understand myself better. I do observe words and sentences that I say when having any interaction, discussion in any relationship. And I can see how it is affecting relationship. I realize sometimes I say sometimes some words which is not needed. Rather, it can spoil relationship. I do observe the way I associate the meaning to the sensation that I receive from others' interaction, their behavior, or from any physiochemical, any material in the environment. I try to observe my imagination whenever I'm aware. I try to see what kind of meanings I've associated it with, and how it is associated with my sanskars. So the way I associate the meaning is my decision. So when I receive negative feedback from someone else, I used to doubt their intention. I used to give meaning to it. I used to make some story out of it, of my perspective. But now I try to objectively evaluate myself, accept it as an honest feedback. I'm very open to feedback now, which was not the case earlier. And this helps me to work on myself, and I can see the betterment of myself. I can see the better part of myself. So going internal is helping me to improve my competencies. It is a swing. I'm working on it. But at least I can see that it is making my life better, making my life lighter and more happier. Although I can see that I'm in coexistence with all other units in space, I can also see that complete realization is far away. I'm working on it. I'm unable to see that I am in space and in coexistence with space. And I can also say that I need to undergo these exercises 1 and 2 again and again at every moment to understand and practice continuously in my living. I can see that. I can also see that all human beings are similar in purpose, program, and potential. As far as the self is concerned, we are all similar. We differ in the level of competence. So as I interact with my friends, family members, colleagues, I'm able to see my level of competence and work towards its improvement. And I can see that the process is very slow and gradual. In my interactions with others, I try to observe each step of interaction when I'm aware. The other behavior or words are leading to some sensation in my body. And it is me who is choosing to read the sensation. I taste this sensation and attach some meaning to it on the basis of my sanskar. I am able to see this. I'm sometimes influenced, sometimes not influenced by others' behavior. I choose the feeling of happiness for the other. I'm happy when I respond and unhappy when I'm reacting. When I'm aware, I respond, but when I'm not, again I react. I give instructions to the body to express outside, and the body follows the instructions. I realize that I'm trying to pay attention to some sensation over others and trying to see the meaning that I associate with them. And many times I have seen that if I change the meaning, I try to understand the other, it is leading to more harmony. I'm trying to notice the sanskars that are actively influencing my feeling and leading to responses or reactions within me. I'm observing when I decide to instruct the body to express the reaction outside and when I don't. Sometimes it slips, but soon I realize and I again try to go back to harmony. I try to go to the positive feelings. So I do see when my sanskars are active. So example is when I was in the Kutch village, this has happened twice with me, that a cow has passed next to me and swirled its body, very fast it came. And I just ran, started screaming. And I just settled and I saw that the cow was actually driving away the flies from her body and had no intentions to harm me. I soon settled down with a feeling of affection towards her. I'm trying to be aware of my sanskars and I'm working towards response, not reactions. I try to observe my recognizing and tasting of this sensation through the body. I try to observe my feelings and thoughts as much as possible. I can see that at times I'm reading the sensation as it is, but often I'm associating some meaning. And my feelings are of opposition in such times when I'm not aware. My feelings are sometimes based with right understanding when I'm aware. And that is why these sessions, morning sessions, are helping me a lot to be with myself. So I do not feel happy at such times when I'm not aware. But when I'm aware, it is easier. It leads to responses. And sometimes I may not even be aware whether I'm reacting or responding. So I'm trying to observe my expressions, the way I speak, my gestures, my thoughts, my expressions on my face, on my body. I'm trying to observe myself from outside as another person would observe me. Like we observe ourselves in a mirror. And I can see that I'm unhappy when expressing negative feelings and happy when expressing positive feelings. So I'm working towards this journey of harmony within myself. I'm trying to give the process of developing right understanding and feeling 4 to 8 hours daily, sometimes even more. I'm sharing content, and that really is helping me to explore. Although I slide back, it helps me to rise back again. And all the volunteering work that I'm doing, it is helping me in my self journey for right understanding. I learned many skills like video cutting, preparing online content, exercises, uh, translation to Gujarati from English and Hindi, sharing content in online FDP, student SIPs, face-to-face workshops, motivating and mentoring others for sharing, participating in weekly meetings, morning meetings, collaborating with others for most of the activities. I do not see this as social work anymore now. I can see that I'm responsible towards all, and I can see it is my participation, and that also for my own self development. Even the role of regional coordinator of Central Region has helped me in many dimensions. I can see my role in the larger order and how harmony within myself depends on what role I'm playing in the family, society, nature. And I'm committed to help myself. And at this junction, I cannot forget to thank, I'm full of gratitude towards all the mentors, all of them who have contributed to giving a U turn to my journey, a journey which I thought was the right way. But I can see that this mentoring that I have received has helped me a lot in my own self-exploration. I know my journey is very long, deep-rooted sanskars that I'm working towards, and I'm trying to help others also wherever it is possible. I'm thanking each and everyone. I'm also thanking the content, all the people who have prepared this content, placed it so in a manner that it's so easily understandable by all of us, and the mentors who make the content so simple so that with so many examples. I thank each one. Thank you.
Thank you, Eladidi, for that elaborate, simplified, and detailed, sincere sharing. So we have learned several things from you also in the volunteering activities which you have had participated. And
Namaste, Bhaiya. Namaste, everyone. Once again, Namaste, Didi.
Namaste.
Very well shared, I'll say, in a very composed manner, and almost every point that is there in the sharing has been well covered. And I could see that you were there involved with Jan Darshan earlier. So your competence to observe has been already there, by virtue of which you picked up very fast. The way you shared your development and your current state on all the counts. So that is really motivating, I think, for all of us. The way you have shared, I think, can just be transcribed and and shared with people. So it was so well shared, I will say.
Bhaiya, you have contributed. You, Sharmila Didi, Gopal Bhaiya, Ganesh Bhaiya, Umesh Bhaiya, you all have all contributed so much to my understanding. I'm full of gratitude for all of you.
We are grateful to one and all. Yeah. So I have nothing much to say here. I'll just say that it has been a very short span of time, something above 4 years. And I have been listening to the sharing since Gopal Bhaiya is not here for the past 3 days. And I could see that Nidhi, Di, Tara Bhaiya, you all attended the workshop for the first time in 2020. And I can see a kind of phenomenon also here that within 3 years, people who already have some sanskar aligned with this are able to pick up uh, in a very satisfactory manner and are able to own responsibilities in value education and also take the program forward. So this is also something to be observed, that if our own sanskar is already in line with this, then it does not take us much time. You all started sharing the content within 3 years, and now you are gradually taking more and more responsibility. Your contribution towards the international conference has been something very significant. You were one of the pillars in the international conference. Let me mention here that Didi is Nani of 3 children, and as she amusingly said that fourth is on the way. So she is at this age and still behaving as a student. This is also very good sanskar, and I think our rich Indian tradition has already stated such sanskars in those who have been studying it sincerely, that you remain very humble, you remain always willing to understand and learn from others. And that is something very important. We have seen that people who are humble, who are willing to understand, who have the feeling of gratitude, who accept others, they are able to move very fast. And that is a very important sanskar and something inspiring for the team as well. So my best wishes, Didi. There is not much time. I'll not add much more here. So my best wishes to you and the whole team. Ji.
Thank you, Bhaiya. I'll just like to add one point here. Recently, I had a interaction with some Jain monks in Kutch, the lady monks, and they were also I was sharing these proposals and they liked it very much. They, in fact, asked me to share the books. So I requested Dilshad Bhaiya to send me the Hindi books, and I have shared it with them. So next time I'm hoping to hear some more things from them also. I'll be sharing further with them also. Thank you, Bhaiya.
Nice, Didi. जी सुनील भैया.
Ji, thank you, Kumar Bhaiya, for those comments. Thank you, Didi, for those additional inputs. Thank you so much. We have time limitation. We have to put the sharing. So before that, I request Shamla Didi to give her comments regarding the sharing before we close. Shamla Didi, over to you.
Namaste, everyone. Namaste, Ilaji.
Namaste.
I think if I recall from the beginning when we interacted perhaps a little bit, how you were in that learning and exploring phase. And I could never have imagined that before I saw you, that you were a grandmother and you were taking care of grandchildren and at the same time exploring this content with so much enthusiasm. And now, even in the last conference, I see your participation in much larger and larger ways, being a responsible member of the team. And that just goes to reflect on your own exploration. And as you mentioned, your understanding is growing. And with that, your participation, your responsibility that you see towards others, and becoming an inspiration for those whose competence is less than you, with your hand holding. So you can see this whole chain going through. And I'll just say best wishes, all the very best to you for the coming exploration and team participation also.
Thank you, Didi. Thank you very much. Learned so much from you also.
Thank you, Shamla Didi, for those comments. Thank you, La Didi, for the sharing once again.
Namaste. Thank you, Sunil.
Yeah, thank you.